This is Sean with Voices Live On, and we're speaking with Tess Martin. Tess, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Sean. How are you?
Well, I appreciate you calling in so we can hear some great stories about the Beatty family, which you have known for 54 years. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And you reside in the beautiful landlocked town of Rocky Ripple.
Oh, yes. My entire life. I moved away a few times, but always came home.
All right, so let's hear a little bit of background. So you went to Orchard originally with Lynn, and so you guys were probably in middle school or so when you really got to know each other.
Yeah, we were like 14
So give
when
me
we
that
met.
kind of description of why you even decided to be friends with Lynn. What was that dynamic, and what did you kind of enjoy about wanting to hang out as kids? What are some of those memories?
Oh, I know that from the moment we met, we became friends. And Lynn, was just like the kindest person, fun, funny. We liked a lot of the same things, music. She could dance. I couldn't. She would try and teach me, and I always failed. We just had fun whatever we were doing. We were always spending the night at each other's home, even on school nights. We were allowed to do that. Um, just kid stuff, listening to music, watching West Side Story. I remember in her basement we were watching West Side Story. It was like I think one of her favorite movies back then.
So where would you go to Holiday Park? What kind of areas did you guys hang out when you were young?
Usually we just hung out like at one of our homes in our own neighborhoods, either mine or hers.
So describe her home. Which one was the first you remember going to?
Ah, the two-story on Watson Road. I can totally picture it because you go in the back door. There were stairs going to the basement, and that's where Lynn hung out. I think she had a snake, maybe a boa constrictor, and I didn't like that. That was in a thing up in her bedroom. Um, we just, you know, just stuff that young teenage girls like to do. You know,
So
we
how was
weren't.
Jay's dynamic around you guys?
Jay was so funny, and Jay was like a really cool kid. He was funny. He could dance. He had some moves.
Get some moves. What
Moves,
what
yeah.
type of music were you guys enjoying back in the day? Who were some of the artists?
Oh, mostly Motown and Philly. Yeah, Temptations, Supremes, Al Green, Smokey, Aretha Franklin, that whole group. Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie. Oh yeah. Oh, Michael Jackson, because he was only maybe a year or two younger than us. So we were there when Michael started. So yeah, mostly Motown.
All right, so for Phyllis and for Jim, I mean, obviously you guys were kids. What even music wise, what did you happen to remember what they would get into? Was it kind of that same realm? Was that same genre?
I don't remember, but I do know that Mr. Beatty loves all genres of music. He loves Bob Seger. He loves the like Les Miserables soundtracks and things. I mean, he just loves all music. I know
Let's
that.
let's focus on Phyllis for a little bit. So, what are some of your earliest memories of spending time with Phyllis, and just kind of walk through some scenarios of you spending time with her, and maybe discussions, and maybe even walking different places or going different places.
Phyllis was lovely. She is probably the nicest, sweetest, kindest human being I have ever met in my life. And I don't think I'll ever meet anyone like her again. She was just so kind. And, we just kind of like when you go to visit your friends and the moms just kind of hang out someplace else. But then I remember she would take us places, drop us off, like drive us downtown and drop us off there. Um, when she got a little older, my son, who is 47 now, he started like going to church and stuff with her. Over at, oh shoot, I can't think of the name of the church over off 57th Street. St. Joan of Arc, maybe? I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember if that was it. She always had just words of wisdom for me. And she was always sending me little letters in the mail. This is like through my life. Just letters of encouragement and just so sweet. Her handwriting was super, super tiny. And I have saved all of those letters that she sent me.
Was she giving you advice, or what type of things was she putting in the letters?
Just things like, how to be happy with life and happy with yourself, and encouraging words that you could say to anyone just to kind of, make them feel better.
Right.
I guess. She tried to get me to her religious side, but I am not religious. But I went to church with her a few times, and she liked that. She would ask me, "Do you want to go with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go with you today." But then she had little meetings at her home when they lived on Penn, and different women would come there, and they'd have little, I wouldn't call them Jesus meetings, but they were religious based, and I would join them for those. I think because I really enjoyed being around Mrs. Beatty. She was so calming. Just everything about her.
That's kind of a common trend, just people describing her and Jim both of just being very relaxed and also, very calmly calculated about handling situations and not freaking out, kind of thing. I've heard that from a lot of different aspects of people. What do you think about them individually as people, and also them working together as a team? How would you really kind of describe their dynamic together?
Oh, I think they had a great dynamic. I think that they were deeply in love and wonderful parents, wonderful friends, that they were to their friends. Both of them, my Mr. Beatty was just as kind as Mrs. Beatty. And neither of them would ever judge anyone. And I love that in a person.
So did you learn certain things about what Phyllis did throughout her life, like any accomplishments or anything that she focused on? And as well for Jim, but let's talk about Phyllis first.
I really didn't. It was more like, she was my best friend's mom.
Okay.
And I've learned more about Mr. Beatty through a few little stories he's told. But I just loved Mrs. Beatty, and she was, like I said, a lovely person. And he is too. I just didn't know him as well.
So going through your life, I mean, you said you had 5 kids, and everybody, like myself, I was an only kid, and if I adopted my friends, brothers and sisters, I also would adopt their parents as well. So that's in time of advice, that's in time of situation. So was there any benchmarks for you that you remember having a conversation with Phyllis that she really kind of was that side mother to you and kind of helped you through particular situations?
Oh, yes. Yes. Several times.
What's a few examples?
It's really hard to even think of any examples because it's been such a long time ago.
Sure.
If I'm down or if I was depressed or, anything like that, she's just so calming. She could just, with her voice, would just calm you. It was very sweet voice, sweet.
That's beautiful. So as far as maybe some things that she did creatively, like even in the cooking wise, was there anything that you remember her creating, from foods to written thing or art, or anything that you remember her creating that you were, looked up to or admired or whatnot?
I can't remember like the cooking because that was such a long time ago, but I think that she wrote a lot. Very, very, very intelligent woman. But I think she did a lot of writing just because she would write me the letters. I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that she wrote, like kept journals would be my guess.
Right. Now, did you go on any vacations with them?
No, but I was invited and my parents wouldn't let me go. Mr. Beatty invited me to go to Israel with them.
Oh, wow. I've heard about that trip.
Yes, and my parents wouldn't let me leave the country, so I didn't get to go. And oh, I was so disappointed. So was Lynn, because I really wanted to go with them.
So, speaking of Lynn and the jazz cooker, and when that whole thing started, what are your memories of how that whole thing developed?
Well, at the time that she was putting that together, I was having babies. So I wasn't involved in any of that beginning of the jazz cooker because I had 3 children in the 80s. And I think wasn't that in the mid 80s or so when she opened?
It's like 86.
Yeah, yeah. So I was having children, so I wasn't involved in that. But then later I went to work there.
You did?
Yeah, she put me through like every position, so I could learn each position, and ends up that my favorite place was the kitchen. So I ended up working in the kitchen at the jazz cooker. I loved it back there. And I had bartended and waited tables at other places, but this kitchen was the best.
So, what about the gumbo? That was one of my favorite things. That sometimes it would pop back up even after the jazz cooker was, closed. Did you ever have the gumbo?
Oh yeah, I made the gumbo along with other people. The gumbo is the best. I remember that one year Lynn telling me that someone wanted to buy gallons of it or a gallon of it, and that was you, wasn't it?
Bought a gallon.
Yes, that was you.
That's hilarious. So yeah, I'd loved it since I was a kid, and then the restaurant shut down, and then eventually it showed back up at Plump's, and I was eating it thinking this tastes like the same gumbo I remember when I was a child. They're like, it's the same recipe, and then they stopped doing it there, and I used to crave it every Saturday. Then one night showed up to the Monkey's Tail, and the saloon doors back into the kitchen by the bathroom swung open. There's a bunch of crock pots. And yep. I asked her to do it, and she said, yeah, come back Tuesday. And it was jalapeno cheese cornbread,
yep.
rice, and then 2 containers. And I was literally just telling the story the other night. I put that in my garage fridge and kept it from frozen to then unfrozen, and made that last a month.
Wow. Yes, I remember making that batch that you bought the gallons.
Well, thank you. This is funny and ironic, full circle coming back.
It is.
So, all right. So for Jim, what are some of the stories and things you've learned over the years about Jim and about his life?
Oh, now he's talked to me and told me things from his childhood about the pigeon racing.
Yep.
I didn't really know people really did that. And, he's told me stories about when he was in the Army at, I can't remember the name, the fort that he was at in Arizona.
Huachuca.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think because I really did know Mrs. Beatty better.
Sure.
Mr. Beatty was always very nice.
What do you think about his humor? I think he's got a very unique angle and sense of humor.
Oh, he does. And sometimes he can use his humor with just a look. He doesn't even have to say a word sometimes. Just the way he will look at you,
I've gotten to experience that many times over all these interviews with him when he just looks and he's like, like this is really whatever the angle is. And it's very subtle sarcasm.
Yes. So you've seen the look.
Right. So as far as comparing this can be unique. So for Jay and Lynn both,
Mhm.
you've gotten to know both of them over the years. Like, let's start with Jay. What aspects of his personality do you see from Jim and from Phyllis?
Ooh, see, I really have I haven't been around him much as an adult.
Well,
Just
for when you remember.
from what I remember, I just remember him being like a really fun, loving teenager, nice and kind, which he definitely got from his parents, as did Lynn. Um, yeah, he was like the little brother. And then once we all grew up, I've only seen him. I saw him at his mother's uh, funeral, and he didn't even recognize me. He's like, "Oh my God, is that you, Teresa?" Or like he came up, I think, and said, "Now who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh God, Jay." Um, so he didn't recognize me. So yeah, I don't know that much about how he's grown up and turned out, and but I know that all of their children have the kindness that they have.
Right. So as far as Lynn and Phyllis, what similarities do you see with them, and just how would you kind of describe them as a mother-daughter?
Oh, I think they were a great team. And I think that Lynn had just got a lot of her love and generosity from her mom and her dad. But Phyllis, oh, and I can't believe I called her Phyllis. I've always called her Mrs. Beatty. Um, she she was just wonderful and wonderful to Lynn. I see a lot of Mrs. Beatty in Lynn.
Okay. All right. So here's kind of a unique question. If you were able to snap your fingers and take Jim and Lynn somewhere on the planet and give them an experience, and you experience it with them, kind of a bucket list type of thing, what thing would you want, or what place and experience would you like to expose them to anywhere on the globe?
Okay, let's see. I would guess that they have been to most of the places on the globe. So I know that Lynn loves to travel Europe. Um, maybe I know she hasn't been to the Scandinavian countries, so maybe we could go there.
And what would you do?
Well, I have some family in Sweden, so we would visit them. And I don't know, I would have to look and see just what is around. I'd like to delve into the Vikings more.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been trying to teach myself Swedish, but it's a very hard language to learn. It is. And a lot of their words we can't pronounce. It's
Right.
all. Maybe I take them to Scandinavia because I know she's never been there. And
That's great. All right. So what would you like to say to Lynn directly, and then after that, what would you like to say to Jim directly? And also keep in mind he's turning 94 next month, or this month, at the end of the month.
oh, well, Lynn, you know that I just love you forever. That you have been the best friend in my life. I've never had anyone else stick by me, you know, support me, and I just love you forever, Lynn. You're like in my heart.
And then for Jim.
For Jim, oh, there's so many different things. He's Mr. Beatty. I appreciate everything that you have ever done for me, with me, taking me on, the trips to Florida, to the condo. Those are trips that I've gone on. Those are more recent. He's just such a bright, intelligent, kind man. And I just love him for being him. Lynn could not have asked for better parents. She hit the jackpot in the parenting field.
Well, Tess, I really appreciate your time today, and walking back down memory lane about the Beattys and you guys growing up together and everything else. Is there anything else you'd like to say in closing to Lynn or to Jim in general?
But I love that you've been in a part of my life. I love both of you. And I'm really happy that we went to Orchard and that we met. And I got to experience throughout the years with her and her family. Yeah, I just love them deeply.
Well, Tess, thank you very much for your time today, and maybe I'll see you down there in Holt Park and Rocky Ripple.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you go to the September festival?
Well, yeah, I mean, because my grandparents, it's Holt Park, and my parents, they will be the ones that always spray paint the kids' hair next to the tree next to the playground.
Oh, okay. Okay. So your family's involved in the festival, or they go?
Well, they always spray paint the kids' hair ever since the first festival. That's my mom has always kind of, been abreast of what goes on with, the committee and everything. But yeah, they help out the kids. That's basically what they do there. And, it's a beautiful time.
Oh, I run into you, and if I see your mom, I'll go over and tell her I've met you.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. Well, thank you very much. And just stay on the line, and I'm going to close this one out. But thank you for your time and your kind words.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sean.